What is going on, everybody? I am the FD Guru, bringing to you guys a Tuesday MLB edition of my DFS podcast. We have 8 games on the main slate tonight, 6 games on the early slate starting at 6:40 Eastern. I will have a lineup for that on my Dub Club. Again, all non-main slates. Usually I post on my Dub Club. You can sign up for $1 for just a week. A link with the link below. I'm doing most likely the after hours slate tonight as well. We have NBA, the conference finals starting. Pacers and Celtics single game slate will be on my website as usual. I'm actually going to give the full roster 2-day slate a go too. That one will be on my Dub Club. I don't usually play the 2-day rosters because the contest selection, especially on FanDuel, is pretty bad, but I'm still going to do it. See what we can work with. Don't really have to wait on injuries in the playoffs, so it's pretty easy to make a 2-day lineup. I'll have that later, so plenty of stuff to do tonight. In this video, I will be talking about the pitching, 2 infield, and 2 outfield value plays. I'm actually doing 3 outfield value plays and 1 infield in this video. Just because I couldn't find a second infield guy that I really liked as of right now in the early afternoon. Coming off of another rough day yesterday for MLB, we had Yamamoto, who is the best value on FanDuel, at least at 9,900. We saw Joe Ross, who was a solid cheap value option, get hurt and leave the game early yesterday. We have another Joe Ross type play today that I'll talk about that we could potentially go to. Didn't really have any Astros, and they were chalk because Marcus Stroman was highly owned and pitched well. I ended up spending up on Yamamoto. Couldn't really spend up on the Astros bats. The one Astro we got to, Alex Bregman, was the only guy in that lineup that went over, and he's been, one of the hottest hitters for the Astros. It's just how things have been going. I'm not going to get down on myself. We have had a pretty rough stretch, but it will turn around. You got to be patient. We'll stick to my, methods. It's a numbers game, and never not go on a cold streak. So hopefully tonight can be better. Another tough slate. We don't have a ton of great value spots. We have a few games I will talk about before we get into it. Tons of wind in 3 of the games. Detroit and Kansas City has 15-mile-per-hour winds blowing out. Baltimore and St. Louis has 15-mile-per-hour winds blowing out. And then the biggest game with the wind, Atlanta at Wrigley. Wrigley, when it's windy, it can really affect bats, whether it's coming in or coming out, negatively or positively. Tonight it's positively because it's blowing 25 miles per hour out to left field. That results in a 11 over-under in this game. Even though you have 2 solid pitchers on the mound, Charlie Morton against Javier Assad, it doesn't matter. The wind is going to be tough for these pitchers tonight. And even though Assad has been really good, he's still pitching against the Braves. He's actually projected the least amount of fantasy points on tonight's slate over any other pitcher just because of this wind. So we'll be targeting this game. And in terms of rain, there could be some rain around in these games. Not much, maybe a delay. No game really looks like a cancellation probability, so we're okay in that front. So getting into pitcher, Clark Schmidt looks pretty good at 9,900. Is the same price as Yamamoto was last night. Not as good of a value play, but pitching overall is way worse than it was or that we've seen recently. Schmidt's not bad anytime we can target against the Mariners. It's a good idea. Marcus Stroman just shut down the Mariners last night. The Yankees are minus 160 favorites. It's only an 8 over-under, so Schmidt looks pretty good tonight. He's projected the second most fantasy points on this slate behind Kikuchi by just like 1 or 2 fantasy points, but he's a whole $600 cheaper than Kikuchi. If you can get up to Kikuchi against the White Sox, go for it. He's been really good, 2.6 ERA. There's no reason not to like him tonight. I do like saving $600 to get to Clark Schmidt. He's been good as well. 2.5 ERA, went 8 strong last game in Minnesota. he's looked really good, averaging 26 fantasy points. We're going to need him to get over 30 tonight at 9,900. He's projected for 35. So I do like Schmidt in this matchup against the Mariners. If we want to go cheaper, one cheaper guy you could look at, it is risky. I don't know if I'm going to go there yet tonight. Aaron Brooks at 7,300. Now, there's no reason to think that this guy is going to ever pitch well on any given game, but we did see him go in his first game at Houston. 7 innings, 5 strikeouts, 31 fantasy points. Outrageous. I remember I was stacking the Astros against him, and it was pretty annoying. He has a great matchup tonight. He's at home. The Coliseum is a good pitcher's ballpark. He's got a matchup against the Rockies. It's not bad. Minus 135 favorite, so he's a slight favorite, and it's only a 7.5 over-under. So Brooks at 7,300, if he can get you 20 fantasy points, you're going to feel really good about this value play. I might go with him on GBP like last night. He's like a similar play as Joe Ross. Now, Joe Ross getting hurt early in the game and getting pulled, there's nothing you can do about that. We call that bad luck, and we have been running into that more often than we would like to as of late, but again, you can't get down on yourself. You got to just play the right plays. And, after that first pitch is thrown, it's all out of your control. So if you have bad luck, you have bad luck. Aaron Brooks is a similar play to Joe Ross tonight. He has a good matchup. He's projected for over 20 fantasy points. He looked good against a really tough matchup in Houston last game. I'll probably be looking there one way or the other. It's definitely not a comfortable feeling, but in tournaments, it's okay to take some risk for the reward at the salary. For the infield, it's hard to get away from Matt Olson. Like I said, Wrigley Field, 25 mile per hour winds blowing out to left. It's an 11.5 over-under. Highest over-under on the slate by a mile. Not worried about Assad. We're going to just want to get exposure to these Braves hitters. 3,300 is way too cheap on Olson. He's more of a $4,000 player. Lefty-righty matchup. He's yet to really get going this year, but we all know he's one of the better power hitters in the MLB. Hitting in the middle of a stacked Braves lineup. They got to get going. I mean, they've been very disappointing to start the year. Acuna's been bad. Olson's been bad. Austin Riley's currently hurt. Might be coming back tonight. They're one of the better, powerhouses on offense in the league, so they should get things going. Tonight could be a good night to do it. 25 mile per hour winds blowing out. Really hard to get away from this game, especially at a $3,300 Matt Olson price. For the outfield, I said I would do 3 outfield plays. First play, we'll go right to Ronald Acuna. I said he's been disappointing, and he has been. 3,900, good to see him under 4K. Wind blowing out, same thing as Matt Olson. He'll be leading off, probably getting 5 at-bats. Where his power has gone this year, I have no idea, but they're all facing the same issues. They're not hitting home runs, and, you got to assume it comes sooner than later, so why not pick the Braves when the wind's blowing 25 miles per hour out? It's by far the best advantage on this slate tonight. Acuna looks good at 3,900. I forgot to talk about Austin Riley's only 3,200. He hasn't played since May 12th. He got hurt with, I guess, his side. But he was on the active roster yesterday, and he didn't play. So there's a decent chance he plays tonight. And if he's in that lineup, batting third at 3,200, he'll be another must-play for the Braves tonight. We'll have to wait to see the confirmed lineup later on tonight. The next 2 outfield plays, we're going to get a little cheaper, sub 3K, just so we don't pick all expensive guys. I like Kerry Carpenter on the Tigers against Alec Marsh. Again, this is another win game tonight. In Kansas City, we have the wind blowing out over 15 miles per hour. Kerry Carpenter has been sneaky really, really good this year. 285 average, lefty-righty matchup against Alec Marsh. It's a 9 over-under. It's a pick'em, so both teams are expected to score around 4.5 to 5 runs. I like Carpenter. He'll be batting third or fourth, and he's been really good as of late. He homered last game. He has a double homer game in there on May 11th, not too long ago. And he's been hitting the ball as of late, as you can see, over the last 10 or so days. So I like Kerry Carpenter. He's got some power. Sub 3K. Looks good to me in a win game tonight. And then our last play, there's wind blowing out I mean, I guess I'm just going to touch upon all three games I had mentioned earlier. Detroit at Kansas City, Atlanta at Chicago, and Baltimore at St. Louis. Let's get some Baltimore going in this value as well. With the wind blowing out, Lance Lynn has been really bad to start the year for the Cardinals. I like Ryan O'Hearn, can play first base or outfield. 2,800, should be batting third. Very similar numbers as Kerry Carpenter, 287 average, 6 homers. Carpenter's a 285 average, 6 homers. So very similar. O'Hearn's been really good for the Orioles this year. 4-game hitting streak, homered 2 games ago. Again, wind blowing out. Lance Lynn hasn't been good. Sub 3K. Looks pretty good as a value play in the outfield tonight. That'll do it for this video, guys. As you know, lineups get confirmed. We might get some more value atop of lineups. We'll have to wait and see. But let's have a nice night overall tonight. NBA, MLB. Again, get to my dub club for all the non-main slates. You can sign up below. And let's have a nice Tuesday and kind of shake off this, rust that we've been seeing. Give this video a like. Thanks for stopping by. Until next time, I am the FD Guru. Peace.